Hey everyone, welcome to the first of Quark Software's Close the Content Loop webinar series, our regular talks about all things content lifecycle management. My name is Emerson Welch, and I'm here with my colleague, Sam. How you doing, Sam?
Oh, I'm doing great, Emerson. Thanks for having me.
So good to see you, Sam. Thanks for joining us. So, Sam, let's dive right into today's subject. What the heck is modular content? Okay, so well, let's say right off the bat that it's a big deal for any organization with strict policies and procedures, regulatory compliance requirements. So for industries like pharmaceutical and life sciences, government, financial services, this is critical. If I started simple, modular content creation is the process of building and assembling reusable blocks of content or components, as we call them, for automated publishing to a variety of output formats or channels. So that's about right, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Emerson. Companies have been using modular design best practices for many decades in all types of construction and assembly projects, from software development and automobiles to residential and commercial buildings, as well as appliances.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think we probably need to unpack this a bit, don't we? So let's talk about the modules or components. So what can you tell us about those in particular?
So content components should be reusable so they can be implemented in multiple documents at the same time. You'll notice on the slide that there are multiple modules or components that are common across these four documents as they're noted in red. They're created and managed in a central repository as part of a component content management system.
Right, that's a CCMS. Some people will know it as a CCMS as well, won't they?
So you'll notice that the components in the reusable library that we identified as being common to the four documents are linked to multiple output formats or channels of each document. We can see that documents have channels that consist of HTML, PDF, and app. It is easy to see that we have optimized our component use here in the four documents with several output channel targets. And if you're using responsive HTML, you can also optimize your output for that channel type.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Because that brings in so many different surfaces and devices and screen sizes. That really helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why reusable components? I think there may be many benefits to this, as this next slide will show. But I think what I want to do is just to sort of pick up on a couple of them, really. So the one at the top drives a modular content strategy. Obviously, we're talking about modular content today, but we can design components to be reuse friendly, context independent blocks of content that can be repurposed in multiple content output products. So talk to me about that, Sam.
Yeah, so the modular design provides components with their intrinsic value. The building content with the notion of connecting blocks of text and images is at the heart of a digital content strategy. The longevity and the reliability of this modular content is invaluable for any creation in any form of digital as well as print content.
Right. Yeah, get it. And within there as well, you'll see safeguards, consistency, accuracy, and compliance. I mean, this is huge again, Sam, right?
Yeah, the regulatory compliance in any industry is often critical to avoid legal and monetary consequences for failure. Not only is the accuracy of content imperative, but the timeliness or expiration of content is also very important. Any organization that faces compliance agencies must follow the strict process reviews with dedicated roles to ensure that it's properly addressed before formal publishing occurs.
Yeah, absolutely. Compliance is massive. I mean, so many of our customers are also focused around improving and increasing their compliance. It's huge. So when we talk about the actual components themselves, I mean, can you give me an example of some of the components, Sam, that you may have?
Oh, sure, Emerson. text, graphic images or photos, interactive elements such as video. Examples include, often we see clients with specification drawings and renderings, legal disclaimers or privacy statements, ingredient lists from pharmaceutical companies and other types of companies that create compounds from physical multiple ingredients, safety videos, compliance certificates. It can really be any format.
Yeah, there's so many, aren't there? There are so many different components that you could have, and bringing them all together. But they can be rich multimedia files as well, can't they? Like videos, animations, real sort of intense data-driven graphs.
Yeah, that's the great thing about reusability is the agnostic capability of the common format. As long as the components meet the criteria that you need to build the content, then they can be stored in your CCMS library and accessible at any time for any content use.
Right. And if we talk about the term structured authoring now, I'm sure everyone's heard of it, but how does that fit within modular content?
That's a great question, Emerson. So structured authoring is the creation of content that is underpinned by a schema. And XML data, DATA, DocBook, these are some names that people are often familiar with. And you can do this now with low code and no code tools such as our Quark Author and XML Author, our Microsoft Word plugin. Structured content is content that follows a specific pattern. So it's predictable, it enhances the user experience, and it engenders consumer confidence and satisfaction. It's content that computers can also call on to interact with in multiple contexts. And the best thing about structured content is that it's enhanced with semantic metadata. So this makes it easy to find and reuse. And the structure turns content into a data source. And this data source is accessible not only by people, but by machines as well.
Yeah, got it. That's great. I think we're going to dive deeper into structured authoring in another episode of Close the Content Loop, and talking about using Microsoft Word to be able to create that. So let's come back to that in more detail. So, okay, I want to focus a bit more on the word reusable. Let's think back to our definition of modular content and the word reusable. So this is huge, Sam, right?
You bet. The content reuse transforms organizations, and here's why. Content automation cannot be achieved without a reusable strategy. You can never have enough hands-on manpower to develop an automated environment which will support an enterprise content management strategy. In highly regulated industries with strict compliance and risk management objectives, you must have a central reusable library or component storage repository. A single source of truth ensures that all content is 100% accurate and current, which eliminates the possibility of human errors and legal consequences.
Yeah, right. I get it. I mean, for compliance, it's huge. It's quite a strange concept, really. Having lots of different components may come across as chaotic, but actually it's not. It's the reverse. You're increasing compliance by having content broken down like that, don't you, Sam? Increase it.
Oh yeah, it's so much more efficient to be managing content at a modular component level for accuracy and to be sure that it's not out of date or uncompliant. For large content documents, you can easily structure them into components at the chapter level. This allows chapters to be reviewed versus the entire document. And really, we found that reviewers truly appreciate the streamlining of this approach, which allows them much more time for verification of content, as well as the flexibility to review components from multiple authors without the need for continuous context submissions in large formats. So really, in the end, as reviewers complete their activities, the overall document comes together much faster, and it's ready for formal production in much less time.
Yeah, that's a real key point, isn't it? Is the time to market is reduced, and that's huge, particularly in any industry like pharmaceutical, where you're trying to to get verification to take a new drug to market. It's massive. So, okay, let's move on. In terms of collaboration and reviewing and improving of content, what makes modular content better than regular content? Is it that component level review?
Yes, Emerson. Reviews at the component level and not at a high document level ensures less time is spent during the final approval. So having verified the component quality and accuracy before it's published for production use eliminates the time required to inspect that specific content section during the final review steps.
Right. Yeah. Now, how do we create them? How do we create new reusable components?
Yeah, we create new components using harvesting techniques. We harvest content from the original authored published work. As new content's created by the subject matter experts, we develop steps in the final publishing process to identify possible reusable content. We also teach authors how to develop reusable content, and this harvesting routine becomes a learned effort, and content becomes reusable from the initial stages of creation. So part of our best practices that we mentor our customers on is teaching formal techniques for harvesting, reviewing, and approving that reusable content. And we found that all organizations can develop these best practice techniques as part of a digital transformation strategic initiative.
Right. Yeah, got it. Okay, so probably a good time now to put all of this into context. So if we take a use case from one of our QPP NextGen customers, show how their content lifecycle management has been totally transformed by a modular content approach.
Yeah, we have an information services company that produces market research, industry analysis, and reports for globally based clients in multiple industries such as aerospace, chemicals, energy, and financial services.
Right.
And they've grown through acquisition to become one of the most globally recognized providers of market analysis. However, in that action, it resulted in the company having dozens of solutions for content creation and management. It created bottlenecks for the analysts and a lot of confusion for the authors and designers to collaborate and to deliver unified content to the client base. So the business needed to improve customer satisfaction through a single content platform that would allow their clients to access this industry coverage for all categories and research teams, easily and with direct access. So we've deployed QPP for them, Quark Publishing Platform, and that provides a much better experience to their clients. The research analysts around the world can now collaborate through the platform to access the verified research that is being reused in additional reports and combined with other research to create new research products. So the clients actually have more research options and the company shares more content. They also have automated the translation of documents into multiple engines using part of our translation clone functionality in the platform.
That's cool. Like it. So that's a great use case story, isn't it? I'm sure that we've got plenty more of those to share in the future. We'll come back to those use cases. So I guess now's a good point to recap. So here are three takeaways from what we've talked about already. So modular content wins, reusable content is a game changer. We've certainly learned that, and content automation just literally just drives everything. It's the engine behind it. Wouldn't you agree, Sam?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is great. It provides a self-service model, which puts more control into the hands of the admin users. And this allows them to build content models, modify content models that are highly personalized for their purpose without needing our services team to do it for them.
Got it. Yeah, that's great. And that's actually one of our one of the new features in QPP NextGen that we've just rolled out. So anybody who's using that product will be able to benefit from that now. And a second one is the new preview mode. So when you're seeing what your content looks like across multiple channels, now you can preview just a section of your content at a time rather than a page or a whole document.
Yeah, this is all about time savings, like we talked about before, is the ability to jump in and out of sections of content, whether that's sections of a chapter or perhaps a whole chapter in a large book of content. And it's all about being able to have a much more agile approach to authoring, as well as being able to do reviews much faster.
Right. Yeah, and another new feature just dropped as well is on metadata security. So when you create new metadata tags, you can choose to lock them down so they can't be edited or changed by other users.
Yeah, this is really critical because it helps protect your time spent on building your taxonomy and your glossary, and provides a way for the administrative team to protect the content and not allow modifications to metadata that affects the search results, the ability to find reusable content, as well as affecting the metrics of the data that's attached to the content in the repository.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. And watch out for more new features dropping soon in QPP NextGen. Well, Sam, that was awesome. Thanks very much for that conversation and for your insights there. It's brilliant. Everybody can join us next time on Close the Content Loop. And don't forget to subscribe to our Quark publishing platform NextGen YouTube channel for all the latest webinars and videos. You can visit quark.com for more information and get a demo if you want one. Thanks again, Sam.
Thanks, Emerson. Have a great day.
And take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.